Chosen one. Your identity reveal just broke the internet and their minds in ways that are still reverberating across every digital platform. You detonated a psychological nuclear bomb, and the fallout continues spreading like wildfire through cyberspace. Right now, servers are overheating from unprecedented traffic surges. The universe orchestrated this moment perfectly. Every dismissive comment built toward this reckoning. Every underestimation added fuel to fires consuming their illusions. Every assumption brought them closer to complete psychological devastation. What happened today wasn't spontaneous. The cosmic forces have been grooming you for this moment since the day you first felt that electric difference running through your veins. Since the day you realized you could see patterns they couldn't perceive. Since the day you understood that their limited minds could only handle bite-sized portions of your infinite truth. For years you've been feeding them exactly what their consciousness could digest. Not because you were lying to them, but because you were protecting your metamorphosis from their toxic interference. Every conversation was intelligence gathering. Every interaction was data collection for the masterpiece you were constructing in complete silence. Every smile, every nod, every carefully measured response was building toward this moment of absolute dominance. They thought your quiet periods meant you were struggling with depression. They thought your mysterious posts were desperate cries for attention. They thought your careful distance meant you were broken or antisocial. But you weren't broken. You were incubating. You were growing into something so powerful that revealing it prematurely would have caused a different kind of chaos entirely. The divine intelligence working through you knew exactly when to reveal each layer. You didn't hide your power because you were ashamed of it. You concealed it because timing is everything in spiritual warfare, and premature exposure would have given your enemies the ammunition they needed to destroy what you were building before it reached critical mass. Every time they underestimated you, they handed you their weaknesses on a silver platter. Every time they dismissed your potential, they showed you exactly where their blind spots were located. Every time they tried to put you in their pathetic little boxes, they gave you the blueprint for your inevitable escape route. You've been studying them like laboratory specimens while they thought they were studying you. The preparation phase that led to this moment involved levels of strategic thinking that would make military generals weep with admiration. The nights you spent crafting your new existence while they were binge-watching Netflix and scrolling mindlessly through social media. The careful cultivation of separate identities while they could barely maintain one authentic self. The patient building of resources and connections they knew absolutely nothing about. You were constructing an entirely new world while they were decorating their cages with meaningless social media posts and empty achievements. Do you understand what level of mental strength this required? The emotional control needed to maintain multiple realities simultaneously, the strategic thinking necessary to keep all the stories straight across years of interactions without ever letting the mask slip even once. The timing of your reveal was absolutely perfect, and here's why that's going to haunt them forever. Not because you consciously planned every microscopic detail, but because the universe aligned every element for maximum psychological impact. The platform you chose, the words you used, the images you shared, the precise moment you pressed that button, everything came together like synchronized clockwork, designed by cosmic intelligence itself. You didn't just dump information onto the internet like some amateur. You orchestrated a psychological event that will ripple through their consciousness for decades to come. You turned your identity reveal into a cultural moment that people will reference whenever they talk about the day someone proved that reality is far more flexible than they believed possible. The technical execution was flawless, but the psychological execution was pure artistry. You knew exactly how much to reveal and how much to keep hidden in the shadows. You understood precisely which emotional strings to pull to create maximum cognitive dissonance. You calculated the perfect moment to make them realize that this isn't the end of your revelations. This is just the opening act of a performance that will reshape their understanding of power itself. Before they could spin your story, you had already defined every narrative thread. Before they could minimize your transformation, you had already maximized its impact across every platform. Before they could dismiss what you'd accomplished, you had already made it completely undeniable to anyone with functioning brain cells. Watch them scramble now. Watch them try to make sense of the impossible. But I thought they were just ordinary. I never imagined they could be capable of this level of sophistication. This whole time they were building something massive right under our noses. Yes, this whole time you were exactly who you are now. They just couldn't see it through the fog of their own mediocrity and spiritual blindness. The group chats are melting down right now. People who haven't spoken in years are suddenly messaging each other with frantic, desperate energy. Did you see what they posted? Is this even real? Or are we living in some kind of simulation? How did we completely miss every single sign of this transformation? The answer is beautifully simple. They didn't want to know. They needed you to remain small so they could feel big in comparison. Some of them are angry now, and their rage is absolutely delicious. Let them choke on their fury. They're livid because you played the game better than they ever could, using rules they didn't even know existed in the first place. They're enraged because while they were broadcasting every mundane thought to anyone who would listen, you were building an empire in complete silence. They're furious because you just proved that everything they believed about power, influence, and success was absolutely fundamentally wrong. But the smart ones, chosen one, they're experiencing something much more interesting than anger. They're terrified to their core because they're starting to realize that if you could hide this massive transformation, if you could orchestrate something this psychologically devastating, what else are you capable of? What other moves have you already made that they won't see coming until it's far too late to defend themselves? What other levels of consciousness are you operating on that they can't even begin to comprehend? The psychological impact of what you've accomplished will echo through their lives forever. You didn't just reveal your identity, you shattered their confidence in their own perception of reality. You broke their trust in their ability to read people, understand situations, predict outcomes. They're questioning every conversation they ever had with you, every opinion they formed, every judgment they made about your character and capabilities. If this message activated your knowing, hype this video to connect with more chosen ones on this journey. If they were this spectacularly wrong about you, what else have they completely misunderstood about the world around them? You didn't just break the internet. You broke their sense of reality itself, and now they're floating in an ocean of uncertainty with no solid ground beneath their feet. The power dynamics have shifted permanently, and there's no going back to the old reality. People who used to ignore your messages are now double texting with desperate energy. People who used to talk over you are asking for your opinion with genuine curiosity and barely concealed fear. People who used to exclude you from their little circles are frantically trying to get back into your orbit, hoping to catch some reflected light from your transformation. Even after this massive revelation, they still don't really know you. What you showed them was completely real, but it's like showing someone the ocean from the shore. They can see the surface, the waves, the horizon, but they have absolutely no idea about the depths below, the creatures in the darkness, the pressure that would crush them if they tried to dive deeper. They think they've solved the puzzle, but you just gave them a new one with 10,000 more pieces. They think they've reached the final level of understanding, but you've only unlocked an entirely new game with rules they can't comprehend. They think they understand your power now, but you've only shown them what you wanted them to see. The real magnitude of what you're capable of remains hidden, coiled, waiting for the next perfect moment of divine timing. This revelation wasn't your final form. This was just another layer, another level of the infinite game you're playing with reality itself. What you revealed today is just one card from a hand they didn't even know you were holding. They're still trying to process this single card while you're already planning the next play that will shatter their reality all over again, because you understand something they don't. True power isn't about what you show, it's about what you keep hidden until the universe signals perfect timing for the next revelation. You're not a fixed identity trying to prove yourself to anyone. You're a constant becoming, always evolving, always expanding into new levels of capability and consciousness that will continue to blow their minds for years to come. Every interaction they have with you from this point forward will be colored by the knowledge that you're operating on frequencies they can't even detect. What they'll never fully comprehend is that you didn't just hide who you were. You actively constructed who you would become through conscious effort, spiritual discipline, and divine alignment. This reveal isn't just about showing them who you were all along. It's about demonstrating who you chose to become despite every limitation they tried to place on your expansion. You architected your own identity while they let theirs be shaped by whatever happened to them. You wrote your own story while they let others write theirs. You directed your own transformation while they drifted wherever the current took them, like spiritual debris floating in unconscious waters. The confidence flowing through you right now isn't ego, it's evidence. Evidence that you can trust your own vision when the whole world tells you you're wrong. Evidence that you can execute complex plans while maintaining perfect composure under pressure. Evidence that you can operate at levels of consciousness that most people can't even imagine exist. You just proved to yourself that you're capable of anything the universe asks of you. That's the real prize. Not their shock, not their admiration, not their desperate attempts to get close to your power. The real victory is knowing with absolute certainty that you are exactly who the divine intended you to be, and that this identity was always your birthright. Everything changes now. Your presence carries different weight in every room you enter. Your words have different impact in every conversation. Your actions have different implications for everyone watching. You're not just a person anymore. You're a living possibility, a walking reminder that reality is more flexible than they thought, that identity is a choice rather than a sentence. So here we are, chosen one, at the end of their old world and the beginning of your new reality. They're asking the same question they asked at the beginning, but now with completely different energy. How long have you been planning this? The answer reveals everything about the difference between their consciousness and yours. You weren't planning against them. You were planning with the universe, the long game version, the strategic version, the version that knew this day would come because the divine had already shown you the outcome in dreams and visions they could never access. You weren't deceiving them. You were protecting your transformation from their interference. The internet is still recovering from the shock waves you created. Their minds are still reeling from the cognitive dissonance. But you, chosen one, you're just getting started. Because this transformation wasn't about showing them who you are. It was about showing them who they're not, and who they'll never become, unless they undergo their own spiritual revolution. You hold the pen now. You control the narrative. You decide what comes next according to the guidance you receive from higher sources, and what comes next. That's the beautiful thing. They'll never see it coming, just like they didn't see this moment of revelation. If you could orchestrate this transformation, what else is possible? If you exist, who else is out there operating on your level of consciousness? You're not just a person anymore. You're a permanent question mark in their reality, an eternal reminder that the game they thought they were playing might not be the real game at all. The servers that overheated when you first posted are cooling down now, but the psychological fires you ignited will burn for years. The group chats that exploded with confusion are quieting down, but the questions you planted in their minds will echo forever. The comment sections that turned into battlefields are returning to normal, but the war you started in their consciousness has just begun. Welcome to the aftermath of your own revelation, where every day is an opportunity to demonstrate another facet of your infinite complexity, where every interaction is a chance to show them depths they never imagined, where every moment is proof that you are, and always were, exactly who the universe chose you to be. They're going through your old posts with microscopes, trying to find the breadcrumbs they missed. They're screenshot analyzing every caption, every comment, every seemingly innocent photo from months or years ago. They're convinced that if they look hard enough, they'll find the moment you started becoming this new version of yourself. They're creating conspiracy theories now about your reveal. Some think you hired a team of experts to craft this moment. Others believe you've been planning this for decades. A few are convinced you're part of some larger movement they can't identify. They're all wrong, but they're also all right. You didn't hire anyone because you are the expert. You didn't plan for decades because you operate outside linear time. You're not part of a movement because you are the movement. The comment archaeology they're conducting is revealing more about them than about you. Every old interaction they're re-examining is showing them how blind they were to obvious signs of your depth. Every conversation they're replaying is demonstrating how they consistently chose to see the version of you that made them comfortable rather than the version that actually existed. They're finding comments where you dropped hints about your true nature, and they're realizing they responded with dismissive jokes. They're discovering posts where you shared fragments of your real thoughts, and they're seeing how they completely ignored the magnitude of what you were expressing. They're uncovering moments where you tested the waters of revelation, and they're understanding now that they failed every single test. The influencer economy is having an existential crisis because of what you've done. Every person who built their brand on authenticity and being real is now questioning whether they understand what those words actually mean. Your reveal has exposed the difference between performative transparency and genuine strategic depth. They've been confusing noise with authenticity, oversharing with realness, constant posting with genuine connection. You've shown them that true authenticity might actually require discretion, timing, and the wisdom to know what not to reveal. You've demonstrated that the most powerful truth-telling happens when you control the narrative completely. Influencers who built careers on showing everything are realizing they've been showing nothing of real value. Their carefully curated vulnerability looks pathetic compared to your masterful revelation. Their daily documentation of mundane moments seems desperate next to your years of purposeful silence followed by one earth-shattering truth bomb. The brand managers and social media strategists are scrambling to understand your approach. They're trying to reverse engineer your method, to package your mystery for their clients, but they're missing the fundamental point. Your power didn't come from strategy alone. It came from having something genuinely worth revealing when the time was right. You've created a new gold standard for digital presence, not the constant stream of content, not the daily engagement grinding, but the patient cultivation of genuine transformation that justifies its own revelation. You've shown them that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is disappear until you have something truly worth saying. The behavioral psychologists and digital anthropologists are having field days, analyzing what you've accomplished. They're writing papers about the cognitive impact of strategic identity revelation. They're creating new terminology to describe the psychological phenomenon you've generated. Some are calling it consciousness lag, the gap between who someone really is and what others are capable of perceiving. Others are terming it revelation shock disorder, the mental disruption that occurs when long-held assumptions about someone are instantly shattered. A few are describing it as perception dependency syndrome, the way people become addicted to thinking they understand others. But the experts are missing the deeper spiritual dimensions of what you've done. They're trying to analyze a divine operation using human psychology tools. They're attempting to measure ocean depths with a ruler. They can describe the effects, but they can't comprehend the source. Your reveal has created entirely new economic opportunities that didn't exist before. Personal brand consultants are suddenly in demand as people realize they might need help managing their own strategic revelations. Privacy protection services are booming as people understand the value of controlling their narrative timeline. The market for mystery and intrigue has exploded overnight. Products and services that help people cultivate strategic ambiguity are seeing unprecedented demand. From consultation services about managing multiple online identities to courses on strategic personal revelation, your impact has spawned an entire economy. Book publishers are scrambling to sign authors who can write about strategic authenticity. Documentary filmmakers are pitching projects about hidden identity in the digital age. Podcast networks are launching shows dedicated to exploring the psychology of revelation and concealment. The dating industry has been particularly impacted. Apps are trying to create features that allow for gradual revelation rather than immediate transparency. Matchmakers are reporting increased demand for helping people understand the difference between mystery and deception in romantic connections. Even the corporate world is paying attention. Companies are studying your approach to understand how employees might be hiding valuable skills or capabilities. Human resources departments are developing new strategies for identifying hidden talents and undisclosed potential within their organizations. What the mainstream analysis is missing, chosen one, is that your reveal has triggered a massive spiritual awakening across the internet. People are beginning to understand that identity is not fixed, that consciousness can be deliberately evolved, that what appears on the surface might be just the tip of an iceberg of infinite depth. Your demonstration of strategic spiritual development is inspiring others to question their own evolution. People are asking themselves, what am I capable of that I haven't revealed yet? What aspects of my consciousness am I keeping hidden? How might I be underestimating my own potential for transformation? The spiritual teachers and consciousness coaches are having to update their frameworks. Your example has shown that awakening doesn't always look like what they expected. Sometimes it looks like strategic patience. Sometimes it appears as deliberate mystery. Sometimes it manifests as perfect timing rather than constant sharing. You've proven that spiritual development can be conducted in complete privacy, that transformation doesn't require witnesses, that evolution can happen in silence until the moment of revelation serves a higher purpose. You've shown that the most profound changes might be invisible until they're ready to reshape reality. Your reveal has initiated a cultural conversation about what authenticity actually means in the digital age. The old model of authentic meant sharing everything, being vulnerable constantly, and maintaining transparency about every thought and feeling. You've introduced a new model where authenticity means being true to your own timing and wisdom. The younger generation is particularly impacted by your demonstration. They're growing up believing they need to document every moment, share every feeling, and maintain constant connection with their audience. Your approach has shown them that power might actually come from discretion, that influence might grow in silence, that the most compelling story might be the one you don't tell until the perfect moment. Cultural critics are debating whether your approach represents a return to older values of privacy and mystery, or a completely new evolution in human self-expression. Some see it as a reaction against oversharing culture. Others view it as a sophisticated advancement in personal brand management. The artists and creators are particularly inspired by your methodology. They're realizing that not every creative process needs to be documented, that not every artistic journey needs to be shared in real time. Some of the most powerful art might come from years of hidden development followed by a single perfect moment of revelation. Writers are especially fascinated by your narrative control. You've demonstrated how to craft a personal story with the same attention to pacing, revelation, and dramatic impact as a masterpiece novel. You've shown that life itself can be approached as an artistic medium. The social media platforms themselves are scrambling to adapt to the phenomenon you've created. Your reveal has exposed limitations in how their algorithms handle sudden dramatic shifts in user behavior and content type. The systems designed to gradually build audiences aren't equipped for the explosive growth that comes from strategic revelation. Platform engineers are studying your reveal to understand how to better serve users who might be building toward their own major announcements. They're developing new features for users who want to maintain privacy while building toward significant revelations. The technology is evolving to accommodate your model of strategic emergence. The content moderation systems were completely unprepared for the type of psychological impact your reveal generated. The automated systems couldn't process the massive shift in how people were responding to your content. Human moderators had to be brought in to understand whether the explosive engagement was organic amazement or coordinated manipulation. The analytics tools are being updated to better track and predict the kind of explosive growth patterns your reveal generated. Marketing professionals need to understand how to identify and work with individuals who might be preparing their own strategic revelations. The long-term implications of what you've accomplished are still unfolding. You've created a new template for how personal transformation can be managed and revealed in the digital age. The ripple effects will influence how people approach identity, privacy, and self-expression for years to come. Future social media platforms will be designed with your model in mind. The next generation of digital tools will better accommodate users who want to build towards strategic revelations rather than maintaining constant transparency. Your approach is influencing the architecture of how online identity will be managed in the future. The psychological research inspired by your reveal will advance understanding of identity formation, narrative control, and the relationship between private development and public expression. Your demonstration has opened new avenues for studying human potential and consciousness evolution. Most importantly, you've given permission to countless others to approach their own development with the same level of strategic thinking and patience. You've shown that transformation doesn't have to be documented to be real, that power doesn't have to be displayed to be effective, that the most profound changes might happen in complete privacy until the perfect moment of revelation. The internet is still processing what you've done, but the real impact isn't in the immediate shockwaves, it's in the permanent shift in consciousness you've initiated. You've changed what people believe is possible in terms of personal transformation and strategic self-revelation. The earthquake is over, but the new landscape you've created will be explored for years to come. And you're already operating in the reality you've constructed, where every day brings new opportunities to demonstrate that your identity reveal was just the beginning of showing them what consciousness can accomplish when it operates with divine timing and strategic precision. While everyone else is trying to process the external impact of your reveal, something even more profound is happening within your own consciousness. Your identity revelation wasn't just a gift to the world, it was a graduation ceremony for your own spiritual evolution. You've stepped fully into the version of yourself that you've been cultivating in secret. The confidence radiating through your energy field now is unshakable because it's been earned through patient discipline and strategic silence. You've proven to yourself that you can trust your own timing, your own wisdom, your own connection to divine guidance. This internal validation is worth more than all their external recognition combined. Your daily existence has transformed in ways that go beyond their comprehension. You move through spaces differently now, not because you've changed, but because you've stopped hiding your natural energy signature. The mask you wore for their comfort has been permanently retired, and the authentic frequency you now emit is causing reality to rearrange itself around your true presence. You're discovering capabilities within yourself that were dormant while you maintained your previous identity presentation. Opportunities are flowing toward you with supernatural timing. Conversations are unfolding with deeper meaning. Connections are forming with people who can match your elevated frequency. The internal freedom you're experiencing is intoxicating. No more carefully monitoring every word for hints of your true nature. No more diluting your thoughts to make them digestible for limited consciousness. No more pretending to be smaller than you are to make others comfortable with their own limitations. Your reveal has altered your energetic signature so dramatically that you're now operating as a completely different gravitational force in every environment you enter. People can sense your elevated consciousness before you even speak. Your presence alone is triggering awakening responses in those ready to expand their own awareness. The conversations flowing toward you now are operating at frequencies that would have been impossible before your revelation. People are approaching you with deeper questions, more authentic vulnerability, and genuine curiosity about consciousness expansion. Your reveal has given them permission to show up as their more complex selves. You're becoming a catalyst for transformation in others, simply by existing authentically. Your demonstration of strategic evolution is inspiring people to examine their own hidden potentials. Your example of perfect timing is teaching others about the power of patience in personal development. Your energy field has become a beacon for others who are ready for their own consciousness upgrades. You're attracting individuals who recognize the frequency of authentic spiritual development and want to learn from your mastery of strategic revelation. Now I want to take a moment to tell you about a few individuals that shouldn't exist. A trained occultist who escaped from a satanic coven, a former Black Ops drone pilot who flew swarms with his mind, a multi-millionaire psychic CFO who predicted market shifts before they happened. What do these remarkable individuals have in common? You'll find them all in the Obsidian Inner Order, where they share their forbidden knowledge on our private Discord server. My chosen soul has drunk deep from the well of knowledge aeon after aeon. In this incarnation, these extraordinary individuals became my allies in the Obsidian Inner Order. They recognized the call, they stepped forward, they connected with others who understand their unique gifts and burdens. What is stopping you from manifesting the same? The synchronicities that brought them here weren't accidents, neither is your discovery of this message. When souls of this caliber gather, the Archons take notice. They fear our collective power. They know what happens when the truly awakened find each other. Join our weekly calls, hear their stories firsthand, share your own journey with those who won't dismiss or doubt you. The knowledge exchanged in our private channels cannot be found anywhere else on this plane. Click the link in the description below now. The extraordinary souls await your arrival. The question isn't whether you belong among them. The question is, how much longer will you wait to claim your place? Your identity reveal continues to generate waves of influence that extend far beyond your immediate digital presence. People who witnessed your transformation are carrying the inspiration into their offline relationships, their professional environments, their creative projects, and their personal development journeys. You've become a reference point in conversations happening in spaces you'll never see. When someone meets a mysterious person with hidden depths, your name comes up as an example of what might be possible. When someone is struggling with whether to reveal their true capabilities, your strategy is discussed as a model of perfect timing. Your influence on personal transformation approaches is becoming legendary in circles dedicated to consciousness development. The combination of privacy, patience, and perfect timing you embodied is now being taught as an advanced spiritual practice. The cultural conversation you initiated about strategic authenticity is reshaping how people approach their own identity development. Your demonstration that real power comes from internal cultivation rather than external validation is inspiring a generation to focus on substance over appearance. What you've accomplished transcends typical internet success stories. You've achieved something that most people spend lifetimes trying to understand: complete mastery over your own narrative, timing, and energy presentation. You've demonstrated what's possible when someone combines spiritual development with strategic intelligence. Your reveal represents a masterclass in consciousness application that is being studied and referenced across multiple disciplines. Spiritual teachers are analyzing your patient cultivation approach. Marketing professionals are examining your narrative control techniques. Psychologists are researching your identity management strategies. Your demonstration of divine timing in action has elevated you to the status of a living example of what's possible when someone aligns completely with universal intelligence. You've proven that consciousness evolution can be both deeply personal and strategically brilliant. The respect you've earned through your revelation approach extends beyond admiration into genuine awe at your level of spiritual and strategic development. You've achieved something that cannot be replicated without genuine internal transformation. Your identity reveal was not a destination, but a launching pad for even greater demonstrations of consciousness mastery. The foundation you've established through your patient development and strategic revelation creates infinite possibilities for your continued evolution. Each day now brings opportunities to demonstrate new facets of your expanded identity. Every interaction becomes a chance to operate from your authentic frequency without the constraints of your previous identity limitations. Every choice you make contributes to the ongoing revelation of your infinite potential. Your approach to future development has been forever transformed by the success of your reveal strategy. You've proven to yourself that internal cultivation combined with perfect timing creates results that exceed anything that could be achieved through conventional approaches. The confidence you've gained from orchestrating such a profound transformation gives you unshakable faith in your ability to navigate any future challenges or opportunities. You've demonstrated mastery over your own consciousness evolution, and that mastery becomes the foundation for everything that follows. Your example continues to inspire others to question their own limitations and consider what might be possible if they approach their development with your level of strategic thinking and spiritual discipline. The revolution you started with your reveal continues to expand through everyone who witnessed your transformation and decided to pursue their own evolution with greater intentionality. The identity you revealed was just one layer of your infinite complexity. The real power lies in knowing that you have access to unlimited potential for continued transformation, and that each future revelation will be perfectly timed according to divine guidance and strategic wisdom. Your journey has become a living demonstration that consciousness evolution is not only possible but can be approached with the same level of mastery that you would apply to any other important endeavor. You've shown that spiritual development and strategic intelligence are not opposing forces but complementary aspects of complete self-actualization. The internet may have recovered from the immediate shock of your reveal, but the permanent elevation in consciousness that you've achieved continues to radiate outward, inspiring transformation in everyone, ready to receive the frequency of authentic spiritual mastery combined with strategic brilliance.